Hopefully everybody had, a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. I enjoyed. I didn't get to see everyone I wanted to, but got to enjoy it. And that's what's important. But while I was doing all that and on the journey there and back, and just being around, saw some things. And we're going to talk about that shit today. Again, honestly, hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, whether you traveled, whether you stayed home. Hopefully, you got to see people you wanted to, people you loved. We never get to see everybody, but hopefully it was good. And on that note, I just want to start by saying, fuck the politics, fuck the side of it. Even if you don't agree politically, like, you can still agree that you hate the Cowboys, except for when they beat the Chiefs. That was pretty cool. Or anything, So, in a world where a lot of people are being told, don't go and hang out with them, don't see that side of the family if they're not agreeing with you politically, fuck them. See them. That's how things start getting better. Things that aren't getting better, though, and something I see a lot of people talk about, we've all seen it, is cost of living. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people talk a lot of shit about it, and a lot of people talk a lot of stupid shit about it. We saw it in those elections in New Jersey, Virginia, California. They talk about, a lot of people are always talking about, because I'm sure on your socials, like I do, Ted Lieu, talking about it out of California. A lot of people, senators, congresspeople, and people that work in the state legislatures of New York and New Jersey talking about the price of everything is up this year for where we are and everything. And I'm sorry, but like, maybe where you are and people that vote in those states, you need to understand that, you keep voting for the same people, the same party that gets you in this fucking situation. And, I'm trying not to be divisive or angry coming out of Thanksgiving. But, if you look at the cost of living between red and blue states, it's, an astronomical, difference. And then you could be like Jesse, when you go visit Larry in Florida, it costs you more. Yes, but that's because they don't have, certain taxes, which means then, they're not taking the tax out of your thing. So then you're going to pay just a little bit more at the store and all that. So the state, can still function and make money. But when it comes to certain things, like gas is, gas and energy, like, play a giant part in all of it. And we don't see any of them ever talk about that. They just, again, Ted Lieu. I can't remember anyone's name from New York and New Jersey, because who fucking cares about New York and New Jersey? I remember Ted Lieu. Maybe that was because of what? Was that Prescription Thugs? The documentary that Chris Bell did, I believe. He was in that. But he's always going on about, Trump, even though last time I checked, they said he had nothing to do with, president has nothing to do with the price of anything. But if you look at it, on the cost of living, I could just say from, my perspective, driving, from here, North Carolina, up to Pennsylvania, and then back down, I saw, just energy prices alone, just for me with gas, and the effect that had on my damn pocket. And you got to think, people living on fixed incomes, or, like veterans that are disabled that aren't at 100%, that are living on that, like, the different price of all that makes an insurmountable fucking difference in everyone's life. I mean, I paid over $4 a gallon for premium, because I have to get it in my car, in Northern Virginia, just because she didn't stop at the sheets we normally stop at, so I had to pay, which is still Pennsylvania gas prices, but it's better than Northern Virginia, which is worse than Garrisonville right outside Quantico. Whole thing, but over $4 a gallon for premium there. Spent over $3, almost $4 a gallon up in my hometown. My hometown's the size of a beer can. So I was surprised about that. And then today, here in North Carolina again, like, I think I spent, like, at the beginning of the day, I think it was $3.09, $3.19 a gallon for premium. Diesel right now is where I am, at least at the neighborhood market, is $3.09 a gallon at the neighborhood market. Like, that is cheap. You can't even get regular gas for that cheap in Pennsylvania anywhere I saw. And what do you know? Our prices are lower because no one seems to think about any of it. They just go after, Orange Man or any of this. Yes, there's a federal gas tax. Everyone pays the same thing per state. But when you get to states, they pay different gas taxes. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you're going to farm anything, if you're going to transport anything, if you're going to produce anything, if you're going to run any power plants to produce electricity for anybody, if you're going to do anything, the price of energy runs up the price of fucking everything. So gas taxes and regulations and all the stupid shit that they throw in there, that causes everything to go through the roof. And that's just the way it fucking is. And there's people in these states, like we saw in the last election, like I said, they're like, why is the cost of living? Oh my God, it's barely gone down or it's gone up or this. Like, I'm sorry, but regular here is $2.39 a gallon. When I was just at the store because I put gas in the car for her before she went to Wilmington earlier, and heaven forbid she could have fucking put gas back in it before my appointment tomorrow. So I went and did that because I am a gentleman. Not so much a scholar at times, but I'm a gentleman. And I went and got it, and gas was a little higher, but it was still, livable. Like $3.39 for premium is still astronomical in many places. And if you look at many of those places, like there's gas cheaper than it is here. It's not in a blue state. And that's the part that no one seems to bring it. They're always going after the orange man, the argument. But if you look at it, it comes down to very simple things like state regulations, state gas taxes, corporate tax rates. All of those things affect your cost of living because that makes the price of things go up. And again, if your gas tax is through the roof, plus corporate tax rate, plus all that, of course, like you're not going to see the prices go down. Like that's just not fucking possible. I don't understand how more people, don't grasp that, because no matter what, if energy costs through the roof because all these taxes and regulations, and then corporations are getting taxed through the roof, higher than a lot of places in these states, why the fuck do you think the cost of living is so fucking high? And yet you keep voting for the people that say we're going to keep doing this, or if not, we're going to raise it even more. Which then means the cost of living is going to go up. It's not going to get any fucking better. Which is why I never understand when everyone says, don't go in California, my state. It's true. Like I've seen posts on social media for people that work in the film studios that are opening up down in Wilmington. And like, please come down here. We need more blue people. Why? Like you left that place because it's cheaper and nicer to live here. Why would you go and vote the same fucking way? They're the same people that made the same fucking things that made the cost of living wherever you are suck. And it comes down to energy, no matter what. Anyone keeps, there's a lot, corporate greed, all of that, that plays a huge part of it. But there's corporate greed in every state. Why is it not so expensive to live in all the other states? Corporations suddenly aren't going to be nicer just because you're fucking there. Unless it's because your state has crazy corporate tax rates, crazy fucking gas taxes and energy taxes, which then costs all them more money to run their plants and, transport stuff, which then costs you more, the stores more, which then costs you more. Like, that's what it fucking comes down to. I've been saying this for fucking, forever. Whether you agree with Orange Man or not, I'm not even saying because he did, but it's just true. If energy is through the roof where you are, gas taxes are through the roof, regulations through the roof, corporate tax rates are through the roof, that's going to make energy through the roof, which then charges the companies more with a higher corporate tax rate, which then makes them charge you more because they're greedy bastards, even though they're all making money through the nose. And it makes everything suck. Like, it's a conversation that I don't hear anyone having, in any of those states. Whenever I see anything, do I live there? No, but we all see the way they vote, and they're like, well, Trump didn't do anything. The Republican guy isn't going to do anything. We have to keep voting Democrat. But they're the same people that put all this shit into fucking play. And I'm sorry for being a partisan hack, but look at the average gas price in red states. Look at the average gas price in blue states. And then corporate tax rates and all of these things. Like, I know New York sucks at it. New Jersey really sucks at it. California sucks at it. And those are some of the most expensive places to do anything. Why do you think In-N-Out moved their headquarters out of California? Like, they are quintessential California. They're gone because of their tax rate and energy price and everything else. Like, it does not work. And I don't understand how we made it this far, made it through the elections. No one said that. Granted, we were going to lose in those places anyway, but why did no one say it? I don't get it. I keep trying to have this conversation with people. Tell me what you think in the comments. I don't know, but I really think If people got a grasp on that and held those fuckers accountable that are running their state, things would get better in your state. But if you keep going the same way just for the fuck of it, because that's what you've always done, that's why things don't get better. That's why things are better. Like, I remember where gas was a year ago. I remember where gas is now. Again, I don't have a car that runs regular because, that car got totaled. My brain got schwacked in the process, but like $239, look at the price wherever you are. And then look at all the taxes and regulations here compared to where you are if it's through the nose. That sums it up. That's really what it comes down to, especially with all the refineries and stuff. For things they have in California. Why the hell is it through the roof then if they have their own everything? It's because of all the bullshit. That's how it works. It's a very simple thing. I wish people would grasp it. Hopefully I made fucking sense. Yeah, like that's what it comes down to. Energy prices, they affect everything. And corporate tax rates, again, go into it too. But if you have high energy costs where you are because of dumb regulations and taxes, everything else is gonna really fucking suck too. And I'm very happy to be back in North Carolina and not want to headbutt something the second I see a gas price anymore.